podium to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and our invocation. Please stand if you'd like.
Dear Heavenly Father, create in me a pure heart, O Lord, and renew a right spirit within me. Heavenly Father, we come to you today just to say thank you, Lord. We thank you for life, health, and strength. We thank you for your mercy and your grace. Dear Heavenly Father, as we gather here today, I ask you not to forget and keep them in your prayers, the 6 people that were killed, the children and also the administrative teachers today, God. Keep them in your prayers, God, because, oh my God, we just keep losing our children, Heavenly Father. But anyway, God, I ask that you give the aldermen, lead them and guide them in the path of righteousness for our residents of Spring Lake, Heavenly Father. I pray for everyone here and their family and also the alderman's family, God. I ask all these things in your precious name, in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. We will now move on to additions and deletions, if there are any. Please make them known now. Alderwoman Cooper.
Yes, I wanted to remove the discussion of North Carolina Council of Government fees.
Okay. Alderman Palacios.
I'd like to add Chief Spellman Cops and Conversations update.
Presentation.
Possibly, if that works for you.
Is it presentation or do you need to, we'll put you under presentation.
Thank you.
Alderman Lackman.
Thank you, Mayor. And I'd just like to readdress the Military Veterans Affairs. We tabled that last week, or last meeting, and bring that up this time.
Okay.
Put some closure to it.
So we'll put that under new business. And what we'll do, and so we don't have to change anything else, we'll just put that in as new business B.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other additions and deletions? I'll now entertain a motion for approval of the agenda. Alderman Palacios, followed by Alderwoman Cooper.
Mayor, make a motion we approve the agenda with the amended changes.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I just said that, you know. Okay. Approval of consent items, the draft minutes for February 18th, 2023 special meeting, our strategic planning retreat, and the draft minutes of the March 13th, 2023 regular meeting. Mayor Pro Tem?
I make a motion to approve the consent items, the draft minutes, February 18th, 2023 special meeting, strategic planning retreat, and draft minutes of March 13th, 2023 regular meeting.
Is there a second? Alderwoman Cooper?
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we will move on to public comments. Now, remembering that our public comments each speaker is only allotted a total of 3 minutes. We will let you know when your 3 minutes are up, so please keep that in mind. Ms. Deidre Parker, please come forward, stating your name and address for the record. And your topic of concern, please.
The topic of concern is terrorism.
Okay.
I'm Deidre Parker, 160 Chapel Hill Road, Spring Lake, North Carolina, 28390. Thank you. My first topic that I like to bring up is that last week and just today, there were young people skating in the tennis courts. And I walked out on the tennis courts and I saw skate marks that we have restored the tennis court twice already since it's been out here. And that goes to show just how much we really need perhaps a skating ring or something in this area, even if it's no more outside skating. We really need something for our youth in this area, and this has been an ongoing thing, and I just wanted to bring that again to our board's attention. Also, right beside where I live, you know, you're trying to, you know, upgrade everything here in Spring Lake and make it beautiful and bring revenue to our town. Okay, well, there is a what do you call it? There's water under the ground there. My grandparents had a pump. It's called a well. You cannot build anything on top of a well unless it's highly inspected. Because if you do, you know, you're gonna cause some type of water coming up out of the ground with the tenants, as well as coming down on me, because it is kind of hilly. So I wanted to bring that to the board's attention, as well as the inspectors of the town of Spring Lake, or whoever that is inspecting these townhouses to come about, okay? And the debris, thirdly, that I've already stated that they need to really come and get it, because we live already near the creek, and there's snakes starting to come up, okay? I don't want them in my house, and I don't want to walk outside. I have animals that go in and out, and I don't want them to get bit by snakes. And I'd like to see something done about that debris being up. I don't care, even if somebody off the street come and get it out of the yard. It is okay with them, you know. And it looks bad next to my house, tell you the truth. You know, anybody could be hiding behind there at night or daytime. And I just like to thank you all for all that you all have already done in Spring Lake. And my 3 minutes is up. Thank you so very much. Have a blessed
Thank
evening.
you so much, Ms. Parker. Next we'll have Carolyn Harris. Hi, Carolyn. She's not coming to sing for us, guys. Although we should just put her on the spot, make her sing something immediately.
Okay. Many of you know I am Carolyn Harris, and I'm 16 years old. I go to Cape Fear High School, and I guess my topic would be support. I'm going to the Apollo. Many of you who probably don't know, I went and auditioned and I got in, so I'm going back in June, the 20th and the 21st for amateur night. And so what we're doing is we're gathering people on a bus, and we're going to, people that want to support me, we're going to take them so they can experience New York. When I went, it was a great experience. I was only there for a day, but it was a very good environment. So those who want to support me, you guys have been a huge support. Spring Lake has always supported me, and I wouldn't want y'all to miss out on this opportunity. So maybe some children who are in my shoes and maybe want to go to New York but don't have the support, maybe someone could sponsor them so that they could go and get that experience as well. But the main thing that I need is support. We're taking 50 people. I think there's 30 seats that's already filled, 20 left. And we have hotels. I think it's about 150. We're trying to price everything so that it can be less but still enough for all of us to go. I've done fundraisers lately, and just to raise enough money so that we can all go and just have the best time. It's gonna be great. I can't wait. I'm just really excited, and I appreciate you, Ms. Kia Anthony, for giving me this amazing opportunity to tell you guys about it. You guys, like I said, have always been there since day one, and I never forget you guys. You'll always be in my heart. But yeah, just wanted to let you guys know. So if y'all want to go or know anyone who wants to go, please just let me know. I'll let you guys know my information, stuff like that. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
We can't respond in public comments. That's the lights are going off. They're like, no, we can't. Right. Thank you so much. All right, we will now move on to our first presentation. Chief Spellman.
Good evening, Mayor and board members. Tonight, I want to give y'all a recap of COPS conversation a program that I implemented last year, so last fall. I had the opportunity to go to several businesses and have some conversation with citizens and business owners and leaders as well. Of course, the object is that you build relationships with the citizens and the business owners in Spring Lake. I think it's very vital for the police department to be successful. So, of course, the police department is very active in this cops conversation, and we'd like to have a little bit more support from the community as well. Last two turnouts hasn't been the best, but we got to start somewhere, like any other program. So, with y'all's assistance, as y'all out and about talking to people, let's let them know that we have cops and conversations. I know a lot of times they share problems with y'all. Let them know that we have cops and conversations and come and voice their opinion.
Okay, so we know when people call us, we can say, no, we don't, our conversation should go to the chief.
Yeah, that's it.
No more grocery store stops, guys. Alderman Palacios?
Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
And, thank you for being proactive about this and getting community input and involvement. Engagement with the community and our police department is important anywhere. And so I appreciate you and the people wearing blue, doing what you can to go ahead and be proactive about that. So they're good conversations. You guys share a lot of good information. And so I wanted to make sure that you were able to present this to the board, but also to the town and the citizens so that they can show up, communicate with cops, and honestly learn. There's a lot to be learned. When you're talking about police trends and you're talking about the proactive measures our police department takes, nobody's perfect. No person that wears a badge is perfect either. But there's a lot of trust also that this community has in your department. So I want you to be aware of that too. So thank you guys for what you do, and thank you for being proactive again about this.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And of course, a lot of people say when we have it, so I say as we get the dates and stuff, just kind of look at the social media. We do have a webpage so that we can get the information as well. So thank y'all for your support. I look forward to y'all continued support as well.
Hopefully. Mayor Pro Tem?
I just wanna say thank you for that. One of the questions that I have is, are you reaching out to the schools? Because I hear all the time about, how children, they want to have a relationship with cops. Sometimes they're scared. But are you reaching out to the schools? Because I would love to have, share that information with the schools so children can come out as well as parents. And I think that would be a good avenue within the community for them to be able to share and see, you guys, create relationships with them.
Sure.
So have y'all reached out to the schools?
No, I have not reached out to the school system, but that's a good idea. So that's something I'm putting on my agenda to make sure we do in the future.
And I would love to help you with that as well.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yeah, and not just they may not reach out for cops and conversations, but
But in
I just
general.
did an event with Lieutenant Sutton at Spring Lake Middle just 2 weeks ago. So our police department, they are involved in the schools, definitely. Alderwoman Cooper?
I just wanted to say, I didn't make this one. I had water in my kitchen. But I appreciate that you're doing this, and hopefully we'll be able to find a way to get some digital signs, to put the word out with, with support from the business community. So that's something we're looking at.
Okay.
And that would help get the word out because people love digital signs.
They're effective. Alderman Lackland?
Chief, for someone who's been going to the meetings, I've made all the meetings.
Yes, sir.
But,
Yeah.
but I just want to tell you that the information that you do put out there does get shared with the folks. Some can't make it for whatever reason, but stay consistent with that. The message is getting out to them, whether it's coming from you or whether it's coming from people that share that information, that does attend that. But just keep it up, and thank you for what you do, and for all the officers and what they do as well. So
Thank you, sir.
Alderwoman Thompson?
Thank you, Chief. And I think our next meeting is on the 25th of May.
Yes, the 25th of May, so that information is already out there, and I will put it on social media as well.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you again. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
All right, we will now move on to new business. Yay, it's time for the local government commission. We love these reports. Mr. Irwin, would you please come? And while he's coming, I'd like you to direct your attention to the table on the side. That was provided by our police department. There's tons of great information, and there's candy over there, so stop by and grab some stuff. Hi there, Mr. Irwin. How are you today?
Well, I'm pretty good.
Good.
My voice, I hope will last.
Oh, boy.
I think I'm allergic to spring lane.
I don't think that's what it
What
is.
it is.
We're good to hear.
We'll
Oh,
try.
that's what it is. Mayor Pro Tem said that means it's time to let us go.
Well, we'll see.
That's a good one.
Which way to go? There's not a thing. All right, so I did some slides this time rather than give you just a written
Yes.
synopsis. The general fund, and you're gonna hear some repetition here. The revenues are on track, expenditures plus encumbrances are all within budget, except for the recreation area. We've got some paying adjustments to be done when we move the program over to the Cumberland Fayetteville Parks and Rec, and we're gonna that'll be cleaned up, I think, next month. Net revenue minus expenditure is at 1.26 million. That's a good number, but this is also kind of the cash high for the year, because your property taxes all come in December and January, and then that balance will gradually go down the rest of the year because the property taxes are in. But it's looking good. And interest income for all the funds is we budgeted super conservative because rates, a year ago were like 0.01. And rates have gone up, as you know, but you also have good balances in the bank. So good balances with rates. I mean, all the funds have had good interest income, so that was a big plus.
That was a question. I was like, how did we get 42,554%?
Well, we didn't change there's a budget adjustment in process that'll be posted next month. That'll distribute some of that.
Awesome.
Now, the water and sewer funds, those revenues are also on track. The expenditures and encumbrances are in budget. Net revenue minus expenditure is $972,000. Stormwater enterprise fund, those revenues come in with the property tax bill, so that budget is fully realized, which is a good thing, better than 100%. Expenditures and encumbrances are within budget, and net revenue minus expenditure is a little over $200,000. Sanitation enterprise fund, revenue budget is fully realized again. Expenditures plus encumbrances are within budget. Net revenue minus expenditure is about $326,000. The fleet maintenance is an internal service fund, so the operations of the fleet service, the payroll there and the regular costs, they're spread out to the other departments, and those are, the object of the internal service fund is just to break even, and it's a little bit ahead, so they're doing good there.
So that was, I think that was one of the questions we had in the past. What were those, LGC memos?
We're gonna get to that in just a minute.
But I think Deborah Mack explained it, today during the budget.
We got a chance to talk to her earlier,
Okay.
and we went through,
So you understand that?
yeah.
Well, I have
we
2
get-
slides on it, man.
I seen it. It was just a day of information.
Yeah, that was one of our questions, so,
He's about to.
yeah.
But, all your major funds are really strong. 2 years ago, they were not nearly, they were bad. So there's been a big turnaround in the financial stability of the town. I think a lot of that has to do with good budget discipline. Deborah Mack she's a bear. Y'all can't spend unless there's budget for it, and you stay within budget and revenues are coming in like you want them to. So it's just a good story. And going into the budget season, I think you're gonna have some opportunity to maybe do a little more than you did in past years. Some general update items. The audit field work for the year ended June 30, 2022 is anticipated to begin in the June-July timeframe. Why so long? We are still cleaning up from a lot of stuff. The reconciliations are done, but now both Deborah Mack and Sylvia are working on the balance sheet. There's a lot of adjustments in there, and we found some issues we're having to make adjustments for. It's a good thing you're doing well, because we found that the retirement, one of the retirement funds, Fund 75, has been underfunded the last 3 years, so we're gonna have to fix that. There was also an escrow account that was created in 2014, and we were asking the auditor, like for over a year, you know, auditors are supposed to confirm these balances, and we never could get anything. Well, Deborah Mack last week finally figured out that that money was actually taken out of the escrow account at the bank and put back into regular cash, but no entry was ever made. So that's about $112,000 cash entry that we don't have. So, you know, adjustments like that will get done, but you've got a good, strong position that we can make those adjustments without too much concern. The bank reconciliations of all current activity are reconciled as of 2/28. The bank activity is actually reviewed every morning. All the deposits, all the checks that cleared. We don't have the positive pay all the way up and running yet, so that was one of the reasons we're doing it every day. But last week and a couple of months ago, we actually caught, or Sylvia caught 2 deposits that we had receipts for, but the bank never gave us credit, so had to go down there and say, what's going on? So I mean, we make mistakes, bank make mistakes, but if you don't reconcile your account, you don't know that. So it just goes to show why you reconcile your bank account. Make sure that all the transactions, you get credit for them.
David, I have a question.
Yes.
Was it possible to do a true audit with reconciliations in the accounts being the way they were?
I mean, in the past,
Yeah.
a true audit.
Yeah, an accurate audit, how about that?
I would say it was not very accurate.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I think the CPA board has heard from Sharon on that.
Good.
Yeah, they'll be hearing from us as well.
I mean, y'all, that was a disservice. The audit was fraught with errors from 2020, yeah. And then 2021, we just waived that because it's just unauditable. But 2022, when it does get audited, it's gonna give you a firm foundation to go forward with. But those beginning balances, that's what we're working, you know, hard to get them shored up. I got some more.
So David,
He's gone.
so David, as we go forward, have we hit bottom? Have we got to the point where we know that we're gonna start out and have our firm numbers? Do we have that set?
Yeah, I think you're on an upward trend. I think
Okay.
you hit bottom about 2021 when all the stuff was discovered. And I mean, it's been constant cleanup. I'm gonna go over some of the stuff that's been cleaned up for you.
And then also, while I got your attention here, the escrow account how did that happen? How did $100,000 get transferred?
It was part of a project that they set up an escrow during the project.
What project?
It's from 2014. I have to look back and see what it was. I can. Deborah Mack, you know, sent me some copies of things. I can show you where it was. But the auditor actually set up that escrow and then never validated that it was released.
And please let us know who the auditor was for that as well.
Well, we can go pull the 2020 audit if you got a copy.
Oh, it was the 2020? Oh, okay.
It's the same one.
Never mind.
The account was set up in 14. They found the transaction happened in 2020? Is that what you're saying?
It was set up and should have been adjusted off in 2014.
24.
But it
That's
wasn't.
the auditor I was saying, so.
Who's the 24?
The 15, 16, 17, 18,
We'll find it.
19, 20. But
We'll find
it should have been validated every single
Yeah,
year.
yeah, we'll find.
Don't matter, somebody missed the ball.
Yeah, just like they should have listed our cars.
So David, was that $100,000 found? Is that been?
Well, it was never lost. When it's closed out, it was put in regular checking.
And they never.
But when you weren't reconciling the bank, you know, it was missed. You had the cash, but we still had a cash balance on the ledger that we didn't have.
So they gave us the money, just didn't give us a receipt saying they gave us the money.
Yeah.
So has it been moved back over to the escrow then?
It was just a ledger adjustment, correct?
It was in regular checking, and it's just part of all the transactions that have happened since 2014.
So it's been cleaned up then, is
Yeah.
what you're saying? Okay.
Well, it is getting cleaned up. The positive pay, ICS has written a file, and we've got, it's my to-do this week is to get hold of somebody at Truist so we can test it. And once we get it tested, that process should, every time we have a check run, we'll send a file to the bank, and we tell them check number, amount, and probably vendor. And as the check's clear, they bump it against the file, and if it's on the file, it pays, if it's not on the file, it kicks out.
Love it.
So that's why it's called positive pay. So you wanna know a little bit about the budget development? So Deborah Mack has sent out Excel forms, and they're due the 29th.
That's what we went over today with
Oh, you
the
done
staff.
that.
She broke
Okay.
down that fabulous Excel spreadsheet that really simplifies things.
Well, and I know the manager is scheduled to review like the end of the week. And then I think you need to schedule some department budget meetings with the manager and I guess the audit committee, is that gonna participate? So you're gonna do that the 1st of April?
Yes.
Okay.
And we'll double check for these dates so we can make sure you know explicitly. Are these the dates that you're available, or is this what you were just suggesting?
Well, yeah, I'm available for that.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the balance the budget meeting, April 12th. But, that's, you could slide that back a little bit if you wanted to, I think. And then get some budget books ready, and she's talking about doing it in PDF format by the end of April. And then we need to talk about scheduling some kind of budget workshop, retreat, whatever you wanna call it. My previous boss hated using the word retreat, so he called them budget advances. That was confusing to me.
Your money?
And then, the public hearing has to be done with the LGC and you. And we've got that tentatively scheduled for Monday, June 13th at 7 p.m. So that's the regular board meeting night. That's what we did last year.
Yes.
If that'll work, then
That's
we
perfect.
can do that.
Yeah, we start at 6. Do you want to move it up some? Or is 7 o'clock? Because, you'll probably be up presenting by no later than 6:30. 6:30 now. So if you want to move it up from
We wanna
7,
move it?
just in case.
Okay.
Mondays, is that?
I think last year we recessed until.
Oh, yeah, we did.
We recess.
Yeah.
So that's what I was saying, if you wanted the opportunity to move it up some and not start directly at 7, we have a little bit of flexibility. A cough drop.
They won't help. So if you've already heard about the indirect cost allocation, I copied this right out of the Government
can you go
Finance
over it,
Officers
please?
Association. But I'll let you read it. But generally what indirect cost, it takes administrative costs, which maybe this will help. So the cost centers that are allocated, these are all general fund departments, the governing body, the administration, finance, legal, human resources, communications, IT, public works admin, and public buildings. So all the staff uses all that. The enterprise fund need to share part of that cost burden. So the general fund, we come up with a basis of allocation, be it budget, be it square feet, be it head count. And some of the cost stays in the general fund, but a proportionate share is allocated to water, sewer, stormwater, sanitation, and fleet maintenance. And that helps with the kind of the full costing accounting principle. Particularly for public utilities, when you're setting rates, you wanna cover the cost of the staff that work in public utilities, you wanna cover the direct cost of the chemicals. But then what about, the legal costs that they may incur, or payroll or writing checks, they share in that cost. So the indirect cost is a way of properly sharing costs with those, particularly the enterprise fund. The way Deborah Mack has it set up on the ledger, that's the way she set it up. I don't know if I'd have written out all those lines like that. When I was in Raleigh, we just, in the background, we knew how to break it down, but on the ledger, we just made it more consolidated accounting. And that's something we can talk about, cause it
She talked about that this
does
morning.
take a
too.
lot of lines.
Yeah, she talked about that this morning, was consolidating some of those
Okay.
line items and not having to itemize so
Good.
much.
Yep, that's what.
Well, y'all are hearing me.
So,
Alderman Blessing?
just to clarify, you're saying that the LGC memo lines are just interdepartmental cost sharing?
Allocations, Yes.
Okay, so, alright,
We were calling them interfund transfers, but to break it down like that, it makes more sense.
yeah.
Don't call it a transfer.
Right.
What's
Got it.
that?
Cause
Don't call it
transfer in
transfer.
accounting terms means you're subsidizing another fund.
Yeah,
When you do intercost allocations, those are expenses that are attributable to like, water sewer utility fund that relate to the payroll, the finance, the legal, the governing board, all those things. So they're allocated expenses. For accounts, that's a big deal. Everybody calls them transfers, but
Yeah.
it'll get you in trouble.
Don't say transfer, got it.
So here I thought I would visit a little bit about what's happened in the time from July 2021 to today. So who do you have working here? We got finance officer standing in front of you, 36 years government experience. The deputy finance officer right back here, 8 years government experience, and then, which one? Deborah has 38 years, and Sylvia has 30 years. So you've got seasoned governmental staff, which is what you need or have needed up until now to unwind all the stuff that went on in the prior 5 or 6 years.
So I just wanna, so one of the reasons why the cost of this was a shock was because we had never, been privy to the contract with Greg Isley, we've never seen that contract. So when you've never seen anything,
Yeah.
you don't know, and I'm not saying they're not doing a good job, I'm saying we did not know. Communication has been horrible.
Okay.
I don't know where it broke down, but, you know, communication has just been horrible. Nobody even showed us this contract.
Have you seen it now?
I've seen it because I had to ask for it, but I know they've done a great job and they're doing a great job, but it's still a lot of money for a community that's considered distressed too. So I did wanna say, yes, I asked a lot of questions, but that was one of the things was, my God, how come we don't know about this?
We didn't know we were purchasing a Lamborghini, we thought we were buying a Pinto, because that's what our budget requires, but we needed to go fast and the Lamborghini was required.
A heavy duty pickup because you need to carry a lot of stuff.
I like that.
Not Lamborghini. So I broke it down. We got these numbers. What's the normal monthly workflow? We're at about 193 checks a month, which probably represent 3 to 4 times that number of invoices because multiple invoices get paid on a check. 80 deposits, 64 purchase orders validated, and that's what's really helped you with your budget control. This was staggering. 3,400 staff and vendor emails addressed monthly.
That's
That is a lot of
amazing.
emails.
A
But
month.
I think that it's an educational process too. People are asking and learning, why are we doing purchase orders? Why can't I just go out and buy stuff with a procurement card because I need it today?
3,000 a month.
3,000 emails?
3,000 a month.
Dang, you need to pick it up.
A low number of credit card transactions, 13.
Good.
That's
13.
That's amazing.
And those are all checked out on the front end. about 241 journal entries. A lot of them are system generated, like between your subsidiary ledgers and the general ledgers, but they still have to be reviewed and reconciled and posted. And then we do maintain a very robust pre-audit process. When the staff started in July of 2021, the town of Spring Lake financial foundation was broken. So what's been done to rebuild a solid foundation? We've worked on internal controls. 2 persons assigned to accounts payable and purchase orders, so the work was always reviewed and checked by another person. That didn't happen before. Vendor files were in horrible shape. 1099s, which are required to be done every year, they hadn't been done in a while. So we validated all the vendors, did new W-9 forms where they certify what their ID is, and then 1099s have been properly done for 2021 and 2022. The PR procedure was instituted for all purchases, and early on, new check stock was ordered so that it was pre-numbered and could be, the stubs were there where you could better document what the check was for. Because that was a question a lot of times previously. Cash receipts are reconciled and posted daily. If the documentation is missing or does not reconcile, it is addressed immediately. I learned a long time ago when I was the county manager in Raleigh, you know, if things are off at the end of the month, you got like 30 days to look at. But if you look at it every morning, you've got 1 day to look at. So that's what we're doing. And it pays off. We prepared sales tax refund reports for 2020, 21, and 22 and received $181,000. Previously, the town paid a consultant, and their fee was 35% of the proceeds.
That's phenomenal. We were paying 35% of our proceeds,
Well,
but
there's
we
groups
banked
that do that.
almost 200,000.
And, I mean, it's not a real hard process if you keep up with it. We prepared and submitted escheats reports for the outstanding years of 2015, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Those are just little necessary evils required by the treasurer.
Where's my money?
Yeah. Well, he just wants to give it away. He loves giving it away. Miniature money.
I think the town has some money on that
We need to check.
website.
Do
Oh,
we
yeah.
really?
When I looked it up a couple weeks ago, the town had some refunds owed to it from SG.
Well, you should apply for it. I'll get him to come down
I
here
forgot
and
to
get it.
ask you guys
I
about it.
would love that.
We're gonna need a PO first, not a thing.
And then we got a bill, I guess last summer from NCDIT, which is Department of Information Technology, for this phone usage that y'all had quit using when you went to, I guess, Verizon. But they were adamant that they were gonna bill for it, but we went back and researched and proved to them that we hadn't utilized the service since April of 2020, so that bill was forgiven. Also reviewed the interlocal agreement with the city of Fayetteville that was related to the annexation of Fort Bragg and Pope Air Force Base. Spring Lake made some accommodation and was due some compensation. That hadn't been received since 2020, and so in last November, you got $203,000.
Awesome.
You know, looking at contracts and just saying, you know, are we getting what we're supposed to, are we paying what we're supposed to, makes a big difference. The town, well, the general fund cash was really low when we first came, 2020, 2021, and the general fund was negative.
Yeah.
So the general fund, the cash in January of 2020 was about, the total cash, whole town was about 1.7. You wanna guess how much it was this past January?
I know how much it was. Well, right.
I better not tell you if you wanna spend it.
Oh, yeah.
She's got a file.
$8.1 million, which is a huge turnaround. But, I mean, the leaks have been plugged, you're doing your budget discipline, the revenues are being worked and they're coming in, so the town's finances are working as they intended to.
Can you tell us that number again?
It's in
No,
your,
it was once and done.
Chief
Never.
Starr?
8.1.
So, these are my conclusions. But the tone at the top, to me, is very important. So I wanna thank y'all for being engaged and being good leaders. I mean, I think y'all made a big difference. I also wanna thank, Manager Williams and the town staff for what I think appears to be kind of a cultural change in the work ethic here. It's really, it's really evident, and, y'all should be very thankful that you're trending up that way. So we hope that LGC and the contract staff hope our support is instilling professional values, which are, for us, competence, knowledge, conscientiousness, integrity, respect, appropriateness, and confidence. I mean, we're setting the foundation back where it should be, and when we hand it off, you know, the big thing's gonna be finding staff that can pick it up. But we wanna leave it clean, and robust, and with good procedures. And that's what we'll be working on the next little bit.
Awesome, and we will continue to uphold, the work that you guys have put in. What you're doing is not in vain. This is a new day, for Spring Lake. We are doing things the new Spring Lake way. Never again will you be welcome in our community in this capacity. You can come back for lunch, you can come to our events, but
We don't have to have a welcome now.
you are more than welcome to come back, just not as the LGC.
Okay.
So we definitely appreciate
Well,
you.
it's
Thank
been-
you for
It's been a
explaining.
journey, and, I've seen the improvement and the excitement, so I think it's really good.
Thank you so much. But
Any
this
questions?
report was phenomenal.
Yeah.
To be able to see the breakdown in just a year's time, and how much has changed. To $7 million in a year is that's amazing.
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
Still, it's phenomenal. So, thank you, and thank you to the staff of the LGC for your hard work and
But-
commitment.
Understand that $8 million number, you need to put it in the back of your mind. What
It's
you
gone.
really need to look at is your budget,
Mhm.
your spending plan. Most of that money is spoken for in the budget, but the fact that it's grown is really good, because you're building fund balance for sure, but all the funds.
Awesome.
That's great.
Alderwoman Cooper?
Oh, thank you. So thank you, Mr. Irwin. I just want you to know that when I ask a question a lot of times, it's because something has come up that I didn't understand, and I'll just say the audit committee, we are looking at the budget line by line by line. And so sometimes something comes up but we don't understand, and that's why I asked the question. So, you know, it's not that we're questioning your abilities or anything, or any of that, it's just that we're trying to find an answer to something.
Well, at the end of your audit committee meeting, if you wanna send an email and ask questions, I'll get an answer.
Oh,
quicker.
okay.
Thank you. We
Yeah,
appreciate
so,
that.
You know, we'll just, and again, you know, I think communication, we need
Right.
better communication with
Yes.
you all. Because, you know, sometimes we'll ask a question and we don't get an answer, or I think one of the things was we wanted to know what should our salary for a full finance staff be, and you know, so we're trying to get a handle on that. So I think if we just maybe have check-ins every couple of weeks with the board, or at least the audit committee, I don't know who all, but I just think we need better communication, and so we're not blindsided, when we find out, you know, when we find that contract or whatever, so.
Okay,
yeah.
we can do that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Alderman Palacios?
So, thank you, Mayor. So the finance positions I do see are updated on our town website. So we are hiring for a finance director and finance staff. The budget for expenditures for our finance department is at 50%. Is that right compared to our,
For the current year,
yeah,
well, originally the thought was, it was pretty ambitious that
50-50, right?
contracts 50%, and then in January, we'd have a manager and a finance director, and you could staff up. Of course, that didn't happen.
Not our fault, not our fault.
So, right, so we're not there yet, and we're probably not gonna be there by the end of this budget year. But, what I'm asking is, this is saying we're at 50%, but the invoices I've seen are higher than this.
Mhm.
Am I right or wrong?
Well, the invoices you see are higher because it's been 100% contract since July 1st.
Yeah. So, are we expecting to be over budget for our finance department?
I don't think so.
No? Okay. So the 322,000 that we have for that department, you don't expect us to go over that with our contracted staff? Am I
No,
looking at the
no.
right number?
No, we're at 339 now.
Yeah, so that's my question.
Our expenditures today, you're saying is 339,000?
Yeah, those, from the last invoices I got, we were at 339.
Well,
The budget currently is
we need to
322,
get the details
212.
on that.
Excuse me?
Well, I need to get the details on that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then I did want to also commend the Spring Lake Town staff. You know, what you said I think is pretty accurate. There's been a culture change when it comes to how we spend the money here, right? And it's not everybody's fault. It's just the way it had been done for a long time, which was wrong, you know. And so our town staff has kind of tried to, or had to relearn, you know, in one fiscal year, how to do it the right way. So I appreciate our town staff taking on that challenge, and I'm sure there might have been misunderstandings here and there, but I appreciate our town staff and what they've done, and I appreciate you and Tiffany for your guys' work too. And I know it's not easy, and what Alderwoman Cooper is saying about the communication is both ways, honestly, right? It's not only from questions that are asked, but it's also, we're not sometimes asking the right questions.
Right.
And some of it's because we're new, right? This is a mostly new board, but I hope this sends a message to other municipalities that are having the struggles also that we're having, is we're trying to figure them out a lot. So there's been a lot of growth, so I appreciate you sharing that too, the positive side of all this, and the money that we've been able to claw back. So all that's great. So thank you again, Mr. Irwin, for sharing that and keeping a positive presentation. All the questions I emailed you, you answered, so I appreciate that too.
Same here.
Except for the FAA adjustment.
That was me. Yeah.
I didn't quite get to that.
That's okay, I was gonna ask when you finished.
We got some proposed dates that I need to get to y'all.
Awesome. You guys are phenomenal. Again, same with, as Alderman Palacios, every question I had was addressed. And I don't have any additional questions. Is there anything else from the board?
No.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
thank you,
This
thank
was
you.
really, really good. So,
Yeah.
I don't know if we have made this available for the town, but, just so you can see the progress that's been made, we will make this information public. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just one thing real quick, I'm sorry. Make sure that, that Deborah Mack, her crew, make sure that they understand that we do appreciate what they have done. This paper tells us they have been working their tail off.
They have.
And we know that. I mean, we've had some long conversations about this stuff, and it was some miscommunication that was going on. It seemed like we were beating them up. It wasn't. It was just more or less misunderstanding. But we know they are working their tail off. Like, she sat here for hours with us today, you know, just going over budget, make sure we know how to complete. Things like that go a long way with us. So thank you guys again. I've only been in here since 6 months, but I mean, what you've taught me to do, what we need to do, and everything, it's been a lot. And like I said, them 3,000 emails are probably from me and Deborah Mack talking to each other to make sure that we're doing the things right. And you're right, she's tough, but we've got 8 million on there now because of people like her. So thank you guys. Thank you.
We've got over 100 years of experience in our
That's what I'm
finance
talking about.
department.
They're good.
Oh, one more, I'm sorry. Alderwoman Cooper.
I just wanted to say, one of the reasons the audit committee is working so diligently is because we appreciate the work that you all have done, and we don't want it to be in vain. So we don't want to budget for anything that is not needed.
That's right.
So we are being very aggressive, so I just wanted you to know that.
No backslide.
No back.
No, we don't, look, we're going to be very aggressive.
Yeah, we're Spring Lake forward.
Yes.
Okay.
That's it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Oh, that was such a feel-good financial report. That's so different from, the beginning. It was real tense and tough, but this, I'm gonna leave home, or go home smiling today. Thank you. We will now move on to agenda item B, Military and Veterans Affairs. Alderman Lockman.
Thank you, Mayor. Hey, this is more so for the people out there. When we don't quite have it, we get it. And so we've got this here. On the voluntary people that resign from the committees, it does not need to come up to the board for a vote. They resign for whatever reason that they chose, but it does not need to come up there. So just wanted to chuckle that around so everybody understood that the ones that do come up to the board are those that are removed for cause. So those are the ones that come up here. So that was all I wanted to bring up, man. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing that back around and letting our citizens know. We appreciate that. Did anyone have any discussion? Okay, we will move on to agenda item 8C, a resolution 2023-4 authorizing sustainable sandhills to apply for the EPA Environmental Justice Collaboration Problem Solving Grant. Ms. Rosario? And Denise, are you coming too? I'm sorry. Okay. Denise, you move quickly. You move very quickly. I think you sent it to Deanna, and I think it was the next day I had an email from Deanna.
Yes. Hi, I'm Denise Bruce. I'm the Air Quality Manager for Sustainable Sandhills. And what I have what I'm putting forward to the town of Spring Lake this evening is support from the town of Spring Lake on the Environmental Justice Collaborative Problem Solving Grant. This particular program is a $150,000 grant program that Sustainable Sandhills would administer for a local air quality monitoring network outside of the state network. It would give us community-based air quality monitoring in our backyards. For the town of Spring Lake, what that support would look like from you guys is a communications piece with communicating with local citizens and communities about air quality and what the monitors are telling our communities. But it would also mean giving us a place to install the monitors on at least one public building. There are 2 locations that we are looking at in Spring Lake specifically. There is one identified environmental justice area of concern in Spring Lake that we would like to add a monitor, but there is also just generally having one perhaps right here on this building. Like I said, Sustainable Sandhills, we would be responsible for administering and the grant and also maintenance of the monitors and also any community outreach portion that would happen. And that the entire program will run 18 months with the hope that we can extend the air quality monitoring network's life with many more grants and community support. Any questions?
That's awesome. Deanna, what do you have to say? I just like to make you get on the mic.
I would highly recommend it. I've worked with Denise for several years. We were hired at Sustainable Sandhills the same day. Way back in the day, and she's done awesome work for environmental quality and air quality, and if she's gonna run it, we're good to go. And I'll help.
Awesome. Alderwoman Cooper?
So how often would we get updates on, from these air quality monitors?
So the at least one monitor type, the 2 that we were putting here is going to be part of the Purple Air Network. Those are real-time monitors that you can look at both. You can look at both EPA adjusted data and like real-time unadjusted, like raw data at the same time. So real time.
So how do you access that? Is there
at purpleair.com. You can also access it through, we're hoping with a little bit of our funding that we can do a dashboard for our community that, it would just be Cumberland, Fampo Air or something like that. We don't know yet because that's kind of expensive. Also, it's only $150,000 that we're getting. but yeah, it's real time, and we would also appear on the EPA fire and smoke map at the same time.
Thank you. I'll talk to you offline. I may have an idea for, some funding to put for the dashboard.
Yes, I would love to speak with you. Where are the troubled areas, do you know, and how bad is the air quality there?
It's not so much the air quality, so much as oh my goodness, the community is off of 210. There, it is labeled as an area of high vulnerability, and those numbers are based on the age of the population, income, and just some basic demographics of the community that make them a little more at risk for poor air quality. We don't know yet if we have poor air quality in one neighborhood or another. But it's part of the reason that we're doing this, but there's some other reasons for doing this. General air quality awareness, we can't see our air, thank God. We don't want to see our air, but it's also something that, you know, you kind of forget about. If you're not somebody who is impacted by a poor air quality day or smoke day. The other reason that we were looking at this is because of smoke. There's a lot of prescribed fires that are necessary to the health of our ecosystem here. And communities need a better way to respond other than there's smoke outside. We can actually see air quality degrading ahead of a smoke plume. So that's very powerful for us. And then there is that fact that we have one PM 2.5 monitor that represents the entire airshed from Candor, North Carolina, all the way to Wilmington. It's right here in Fayetteville. That's not necessarily a bad thing, that's just how EPA has set up their monitoring network for federal rules, but we now have technology that we can look at what's happening in your backyard. So our community certainly needs it.
Definitely. Alderman Palacios? Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. So how big are the monitors?
About the size of a coffee cup.
All right, great.
Yes, and yes.
Important question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have one of those sitting on top of you.
Yeah.
So I was worried that you were going to say the wastewater treatment plant was one of your areas.
No. So while we do want a representative sample, I would argue that the wastewater treatment plant is probably not the representation that we want. We want something more like where people are living.
Thank you for that.
And I know that Deanna lives at the wastewater treatment plant.
All right, and then I appreciate Sustainable Sandhills and what they do, and the promotion you give to our town, and the cleanup that you guys help promote as well that we do in our town. So
Thank you.
appreciate that and appreciate you guys' work.
Yeah.
Any other questions? So if there is no further discussion, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the resolution 2023-4, authorizing Sustainable Sandhills to apply for the EPA Environmental Justice Collaborative Problem Solving Grant. You need an acronym for that. I run out of breath.
That's EPA.
Government entities.
They usually love their acronyms.
Oh boy, that's long. Alderwoman Cooper.
I enthusiastically move that we, adopt resolution 20234.
Did you put your line out? It went on and off so fast by the time I looked. I said, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And no one's opposed, unanimous, yes. Thank you for, bringing this to Spring Lake. You support us a lot, so if we can do something to support you, absolutely.
Anytime. Thank you.
150,000 is yours. Awesome. So, that's it. Okay, we're up to that was good. We're up to updates, and I only have a few. Remember, our Mayor's Coalition meeting will be held right here in the boardroom on the 31st. That's Friday, right? Friday the 31st. At 7:30, breakfast will be served. 8 o'clock or 8 a.m. the meeting will begin. Again, we will be discussing the sales tax interlocal agreement with the county. So if you have an opinion that you want heard, this is your time to come out and be able to address. We are expecting our county commissioner chair to be here. So if you want to address her directly, she'll be here. You can express your concerns. I also want to say happy birthday to all of our employees that had a birthday in March. And so that is Eric Windler, Mr. Vernon Allen, Daniel Hernandez, Danny Sutton, Jason Swan, Miss Carly Autry, and I'd like to make sure we send up a special prayer for her. She is suffering from a loss in her family. Mr. Stevie Jones, Captain Patterson, and Scott Shera. So happy birthday to everyone. Did he born for happy birthday? Has another birthday? You know? Okay. Happy birthday to you guys. Happy birthday, Corey. He's out in the audience. That's all I have. Mayor Pro Tem.
I do have an update, but I forgot the flyer for Mr. Finch is having, a boxing tournament at True Vine. I think it's True Vine Church in Fayetteville, but I don't have all the information, so I don't want to misspeak on it, but I will post the information and share it, so please, Mr. Finch, forgive me for not being prepared, but, but I will share the information, thank you. Oh, thank you, okay. Okay, so, the mayor saved me. So, Mr. Finch is having his 11th annual Mayor's Cup Boxing Tournament on May the 6th, 2023. And the doors open at 3 p.m. and the bout start at 4 p.m. And Mr. Finch has been very huge in the Spring Lake area, doing a lot of things for the youth. So we definitely want to support him. For those of you that can come out, please come out and support Mr. Finch. Thank you.
Alderman Vasquez.
Thank you, Mayor. The Appearance Committee here in Spring Lake is meeting next on April 12th here in this room at 4 p.m. We also have our wall mural RFP that is out, so that deadline is April 10th. We have had a lot of people interested. We have not yet received an RFP. Is that accurate, Ms. Rosario? Not yet, okay. So, but the deadline is April 10th, so if you know anyone interested in putting some art, go to our website, townofspringlake.com/community initiatives. It's at the bottom of that page. Thank you, ma'am.
Quick question for that. And for the artists, we are trying to find somebody within, our local area, not just specifically Spring Lake, but say Cumberland County area?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. The preference would be local.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Alderwoman Thompson.
I would just like to say on the 29th of April, which we still got a little bit, have a little bit of time, at 9 o'clock, the torch run with the Spring Lake Police Department will be up there at the Veterans Park. And you can run or walk, or you can just come and show support. And that's all I have.
I have support.
The t-shirts are available. You can get with us, Detective Utley up at the annex, and the t-shirts are $20.
And if you go by Alderman Lackman, he's gonna make you run. I know from experience. Alderman Lackman.
Thank you, Mayor. Hey, I got three things that I want to address. One was Creek Week that took place. We had 5 volunteers. We got 2 of them back there. I don't know if they were volunteers or voluntold. But Deanna and Miss Bruce, thank you all very much. One of my things is always picking up trash. So there were 3 big heavy bags of trash. It came out to 75 pounds. That was 75 pounds of trash that was picked up. It didn't go in the waterways, didn't end up in the Atlantic Ocean, didn't end up in some of these streams and waterways that are out there. So it was a small group, but it was an impactful cleanup that was done. So for you all giving up part of your cold Saturday morning to be out there, thank you. I appreciate that. And tomorrow night, right here in this building at 6:30, we've got the Military and Veterans Affairs Committee meeting that will be taking place. For all of our active duty or retirees or family members that would like to come out here and show support for the Military Veterans Affairs, that will be taking place tomorrow night as we go through here. Then, of course, back on the theme of cleanup, April 1st. It's not an April Fool's joke. April 1st on Saturday, we will be back out there cleaning up the town of Spring Lake. And we'll be meeting at 8 o'clock over at the Skyline Plaza and going out and cleaning up some more of their streets and roads in Spring Lake. So that's all I have for you, Mayor. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Alderwoman Cooper?
Oh, thank you, Mayor. So, first I want to clear up something, I read in the paper this morning. It stated that we, terminated our former manager, Miss Samantha Woolenweber, without a public vote. Ms. Woolenweber, first of all, put in a 30-day notice. Secondly, she was working under a contract that was not signed by anyone here in the town of Spring Lake, and we never voted on it. Therefore, there was no reason to vote to terminate her. So I just want to clear that up, because I always like to make sure people understand what has happened and transpired. Again, we're trying to be as transparent as possible. Secondly, good news, T-Mobile for employees has started. I got my iPad. They have a special up until the 31st. You can get a free iPad. And I think I only pay $20 a month for my service. And the other is currently National League of Cities is meeting in DC for the Congressional City Conference. And although I wasn't there able to go, my colleagues have sent back several emails with grant opportunities and other funding opportunities. I think the one I got today, they have an infrastructure hub. So hopefully we will be able to take advantage of that. There was also one for distressed communities. So we'll be looking at that. So hopefully we need help with our infrastructure. So I'm hoping we'll, with the great work we're getting done with our finances, and we'll be able to apply for some of those fundings from the federal government. And that's
awesome. Mr. Manager?
Nope, I think I said everything I needed to earlier. I'm good.
Blessedly nothing.
Awesome. Well,
sure. I have the request to file a complaint with the CPA for the auditor. Did you ever get the information you needed and carry over that?
So no, I haven't got the information I needed. However, I can follow up with Mr. Williams to obtain that information. So I'll take it equal, if not more, responsibility for that.
Okay.
That's just a matter of I think both of us be busy with other matters.
Yes.
thank you. If there is no further comments, I will entertain a motion to go into closed session pursuant to NCGS 143-318A3 attorney-client privilege and NCGS 143-318-11A6 personnel. Alderwoman Cooper.
So moved.
Is there a second? Alderwoman Thompson.
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you all for coming out. We appreciate each and every one of you. Please drive
come out of closed session.
Alderwoman Cooper?
Second,
Oh, no. You say no action.
no action taken.
Alright. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I was waiting for somebody to oppose. Meeting adjourned.
No, you gotta do it.
Motion to come out of closed session, approved. Now entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion that we adjourn for
I second. Any discussion? All in favor? Any